Thanks for joining us here today at the Grosvenor Hotel. We've got today the two fighters who will be fighting for the WBO Middleweight Championship in Limerick in Ireland on the 19th of September. We should be billed as the showdown at Thomond Park. Andy Lee to my right from Limerick in Ireland, he's the champion. And to my left, Billy Joe Saunders from Hatfield, he's the undefeated mandatory challenger. I've been promoting now for too many years that I want to think about, but in my time in boxing, this is for me one of the best fights that we're liable to have, and for numerous reasons. And it's not a hype job. I mean, it's genuinely. You've got two fighters here that, in my opinion, you've got the guy, Andy Lee, the champion, who's gone into his last 3 or 4 fights as the underdog. And each of those fights, he's absolutely pulled it out the bag and on the other guy's turf and done a brilliant job and won the title and obviously defended it again. Then you've got Billy Joe Saunders, who's done everything as a fighter. As a fighter, he's represented his country in the Olympics. He's won numerous amateur titles. He's won the British, Commonwealth and European title. He's undefeated, as I said. And you know, this just the styles make this a great fight. And more importantly, from their background, their community, where they come from, this is a bragging rights fight. And that's what's going to make it so special. I know that the pride involved in this, there's pride involved in all fights, but I know the pride involved in this is going to make this a fight that's going to be a little bit special. And that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it. And you know, Adam Booth's done a great job as the promoter in Ireland, along with ourselves. And you know, this for me is going to be something that's going to be, you know, a special night. And as a fan, I'm looking forward to it. And as being involved in the promotion, I'm delighted to be involved with it. Got everybody here at the table who you need to speak to about the fight. We've got far left Jimmy Tibbs, who trains. Has trained Bill from the beginning. We've got Bill next to him. Bill Ives, who's my partner, and also chairman of Raymond Steele, and he's a partner in Box Nation with us. Andy, and obviously Adam Booth. They're all going to have something to say in a moment, but this fight, I just want to keep emphasising, is one you cannot afford to miss if you're a boxing fan. You're going to get something that's going to be truly special. And I think that, and I've got to say, I fancy my man to win it. I'm sure Andy and Adam will say differently, but for me, I think that, you know, styles make fights, and I think that Bill has the style to hopefully negate Andy's strengths and come away with that title and go on to remain undefeated and have yet another belt to his name. But I'm sure, as I say, Andy and Adam have got other plans and other things to say about that. Adam's here, I'm sure he's got something to say before you ask your questions of the fighters, so I'll leave it to it.
Other than you sticking me at the end of the table.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's a great matchup of styles, great matchup of wills, and a great matchup of pride as well. Like you said, the story behind the two of them and the history behind Andy winning the championship is something special. And as a coach, my job every night is to obsess over Billy Joe Saunders. Every time I shut my eyes and I start seeing the fight and seeing his strengths, I'm constantly either dreaming or daydreaming about Billy Joe Saunders. It's the process I go through in the fight. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
You're not under the covers dreaming about that,
Under the duvet you must go.
But being a professional, every scenario I look at always ends up in an entertaining fight, and I start visualising the fight as a coach and end up watching it as a fan, and that's effectively what you got here. You got a fan's championship fight, two southpaws that are going to make for a good matchup, because a lot of times two southpaws can make for bad fights, but again I go back to everything that I see when I shut my eyes, and this makes for one hell of a fight, and it's going to be explosive. However long it lasts, it will be explosive, and I expect Andy to do the job that he's always shown me that he can do, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Just unfortunately I've got to be a coach on the night, and the fans are going to be the ones that enjoy it.
Right, gentlemen, you've got any questions to ask, please feel free to do so.
Can I ask both fighters, is it a bragging rights fight, and will that be the main motivation of the fight, or will it be the title and the money and everything like it always is?
I think that, you know, I think we're both in love with the game. I think it's about, you know, who can come out. Well, for me, it's about walking away with that belt. I mean, it is, you know, we're from the travelling community. It's a big, big fight. It's a history fight. I mean, he's the first traveller ever to win a world title. I'm the first one to win a British title outright. You know, there's a lot of talk about this fight amongst our community, but I think this is not only for our community, but it's for the rest of the fans as well. And the belt's on the line here. What bigger do it get in boxing than being a world champion? So I personally think it's the fight that we're involved in that's going to be big, and the rights. You know, every fight you want to win for bragging rights. You know, just because we're two travellers, it don't mean that, yeah, this is the one we got, but it adds more spice to it. It's another ingredient added to the fight.
Andy, do you agree with that?
I would agree with it, and I would say that our upbringing and our background is probably a key ingredient why we've been both been so successful, because the pride that we will be bringing into this fight against Sugar is probably bringing to every fight, and you know, we're very much men's men, and we can't let any man beat us, but both being travellers and both being from our backgrounds will mean more. We'll have to face, like, as long as the rest of us live, we'll have to face this fight in our own community. We'll be faced up with this fight, win or lose. Whoever wins will be hailed as a hero, and the loser will, we're both good men, won't be shamed, but the loser will be known as the loser. And so there's a lot on the line for us both personally. But more so than that, in terms of general, this is the genuine middleweight championship fight, and he's no more contender, mandatory challenger. Had I not fought him, I would have been stripped, and so that brings legitimacy to this as a bigger event as well. So there's a few subplots, but the main thing is it's the middleweight title fight, and I've worked very long and hard to get here, and I don't intend to give it up by any means.
Can I ask you both, if you win the fight, would you like to go and defend this title for a bit longer, or look to unify pretty quickly? You answer first, Andy.
It's very important to me to defend my title and not just be a champion, a flash in the pan. To be a champion, a sustained champion, one who defends it multiple times. There's always talk of unifications, but right now it's me and Billy Joe, and that's somewhere down the line. I just want to look at defending my title on September 19th.
I think that, you know, obviously if I walk away with that belt, that big door's open for me. Some big fights, and like Andy said there, I don't want to repeat it, but at the minute it's all about the 19th. You know, she's going to walk away with that belt, and I'm very confident.
Would it feel any different for you, Billy, fighting away from home in perhaps hostile territory? You've always been the house fighter. Yeah,
I mean, you know, Andy's done it. He's been to America and whatnot, so you know, his experience is through your boxing career. You're going to have to do this, experience it, and you know, there's no better way and no better feeling I can imagine than winning the title in someone's backyard. But I'll have plenty of fans over there myself as well.
And I think, you know, the good thing about Ireland is that, you know, the Irish, Limerick, they like their fights, they like their fighters. It's not a hostile arena that Bill will be going into. Obviously, the majority of support will be with Andy, and we all understand that. But they appreciate their fighters, they appreciate the boxing. So I think that, you know, whoever wins this, and if Bill wins it, you know, that he'll get a big cheer going out the ring. There's no doubt about that.
How difficult was it to put on, Frank, in such a big venue? Yeah.
Well, Adam should have been on the end, but he's on the end there. Adam's the, you know, he's the lead promoter of this. I mean, we're doing it together. You know, we were looking at West Ham. We were trying to get it on earlier, but Andy had an injury, so it got pushed back to September. And then we, you know, had to make a decision whether to go to West Ham on the 5th of September or Ireland, but there was some financial problems to do it at West Ham, so that's why we're in Limerick. Otherwise, we would have been pushing it back further. And at that stage, the WBO said that, you know, you fight, or, you know, we go either to the next available contender, or if Andy weren't available, then there'd be an interim fight. So that's where we are. you know, it's in Munster's ground, isn't it? Which is like the, you know, one of the top rugby clubs there. You know, they, as I say, they love their sport. You know, it's going to add to it. Being in that ground, the great atmosphere. I've actually been there and seen a rugby match at Munster in my days of when I was involved with Bedford. But it's a, you know, it'd just be a fabulous atmosphere there. I know it will be. It's going to be so electrically charged, and these guys are just going to be at the top of their game. And I think we're going to see, as I keep repeating, something a little bit special.
Andy, have you taken your belt to a Munster game and paraded it in front of the fans? Can you talk to us about that and whether you've got support there from the rugby community as well?
Bloody Eddie Hearn out there,
Yeah, at Christmas time I was invited along to a Munster match. They played Leinster, which was one of their main rivals, and I had a meal with the people from the stadium before, and at half time I was invited onto the pitch and sat with the players during the match, and I got a wonderful reception there, and it gives me, you know, a little taste of what will be on September 19th. And I was lucky enough to go back into the dressing room, which surprised Paul O'Connell, who is a legend in Limerick and in Ireland, invited me back to the dressing room, and they sing their song, which is the Munster anthem, and the opening lines are "Stand up and fight until you hit a bell," which I thought was quite fitting. And maybe I'll use that as my ringwalk song. But as Frank said there, I'd just like to say we're both Olympians. We're both pure boxers, in a sense. We have grade, we have a lot of history behind us, and we've fought at the highest level for a long, long time, both of us. And so if you're a boxing fan, if you're an amateur boxer, or you're an amateur boxing club, this is the fight you should be taking your young fighters to see, because what we will put on is a display of boxing skill and speed and power, and like I said, there's a lot of pride, and he's going to have to do a lot to take this title from me, and I'm going to have to do a lot to beat him, and you'll see one of the best fights in all.
Genuine respect between you two guys, is that part of the sort of community background, and is it, I mean, you're not going to descend into trash talking before the fight?
Listen, to be honest with you, it helps when you're not fighting a prick, excuse the language. But listen, like I said this before, me and Andy, we're both, sorry about the language of children there as well, I shouldn't have said that. Me and Andy, we're both proud men, and you know, all the talking in the world, I can sit here and say I'm going to smash him, knock him out, and he could say the same. But I know this is going to be a genuine 50-50 good fight. This is going to be a good fight, and I know I can set back. Sadly, I've got to be in it, so I won't be able to sit back and enjoy it. But this fight here, don't need talking up or building up. It is what it is. It's a history fight. You know, we're making history with this fight, and I know it's going to catch fire. This fight, definitely. You know, I think there's times in there when, you know, we should be listening to instructions where we're going to let our hearts get a little bit over us, and we're going to, you know, go hammer and tongue sometimes. But it's going to be a real good fight.
Does it make a refreshing change, Billy, that you're actually going in with somebody who wants to fight and that you're not dealing with a prick?
You know, listen, I know, at least I know I can go away, and I've had a few weeks in the gym now, and I know I'm training for a fight. You know, a champion I know I'm training for. You know, when you're dealing with people, well, you know, it's on, it's off, not turning up, just, you know, it's hard to get mentally focused there. But as I know, that Andy will definitely be turning up, and I know it's going to be in for a good fight.
Jimmy, will it be hard to, as Billy just alluded to, will it be hard to keep discipline throughout the fight when their emotions might, be in danger of taking over?
Well, it'd only be hard for him, not for me. He's got to do the fighting. He knows the instructions what I want him to do. But as he just said, they're two proud men, travelling people. They've got their bit of pride. We just got to see how we go play it by ear on the night. But we've got to play in, and you know.
He's got a stick in the corner, a whip for me in the corner.
But it's going to be a great fight.
Phil, does it feel different preparing for a world title fight? Does it feel different in the gym?
You know, it does. I feel I've got a fight obviously Friday night, and you know, it's hard to get excited about this fight now. But when it starts hitting home is when I'm away training. You know, I've been thinking about it when I'm jogging. I think about it when I'm training. When I walk in the gym, I think about it. I'm thinking about it all the time. It's just hard to get around it. I can't believe I'm here now, and you know, and I'm in touching distance of my dream.
How much did you learn from that whole occasion against Eubank? Because there was a lot of emphasis on it, and the crowd on the night in the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Obviously, I walked out with the most crowd there, and it'd be completely different in Ireland. But you know, you learn a lot of things. I look back on that fight there, and you know, there's things I've done majorly wrong, and I will be fixing them this time.
Could you talk about that a little bit, Billy? What you felt that night that you didn't do right?
You know, I don't want to go into too much detail now, but they're being correctly put right now. You know, nothing in me training-wise. Training was 100%, but you know, I think I let a little bit. I'm very headstrong, me, and you know, when you're training for 6 weeks hard, and you know what's going through your head in that 6 weeks is you're probably not fighting. You're probably not fighting. You know, it's a funny thing to get ready for a fight. You know, but now I'm in training. Now it'll be 12, 13 weeks. I've been in training when this happens. From day one, I know I'm fighting, and I know that he's coming in the ring.
He meant that he was worried at the time because he kept saying to me, Bill, you know, Chris Eubanks Jr. won't be showing up, he'll be pulling out. So he had, that was like a thing all the time, recurring every day. We were having those conversations. But as you know, Bill said, no problems with Andy.
Andy, will you find it difficult to keep your emotions in check on the night, do you think? You know, big crowd, hometown fight.
Yeah, fighting at home brings its own pressures, and I'll have to be focused on the fight and not let the occasion, not get carried away in the occasion. That's a fact that I'll have to deal with, yeah. But I would just, as I mentioned earlier, there's subplots. In this fight you have two of the best coaches, trainers, facing off against each other. Also, Adam Booth and Jimmy Tibbs along with Mark Tibbs. You've got two of the best, most knowledgeable people in the game, and it's a great, you know, it's a great battle of wits between them two.
Adam, did you see anything in Billy's last fight that you could go in the Eubank fight that you could exploit?
Of
that
course.
You want to tell us about?
No, you see that in every boxer, but it's important to pay respect to the threat that he poses, because I believe that that's how you win fights. You have to deal with the threat that's posed first before you start thinking about your own thing. And Billy's got far more strengths than he's got weaknesses, which is why he's the fighter that he is. But that doesn't, you know, at this level, at World Championship level, you see that all the time. And for all of us involved, this is exciting because it's a challenge for all of us, and it gives us a thrill. It's why we're in the sport. We're not in the sport for these mismatches that happen too easily in these plastic champions or paper champions that seem to be popping up all over the place and get sold to the public as genuine champions, and they get sold to the public as genuine fights as well. And it's a shame because the public sometimes don't know the difference. But we just need to make sure that they do understand that this is a genuine title fight, a genuine champion, a genuine mandatory challenger. This has got grade written all over it from top to bottom. And the people are going to get the fight that they deserve to see as well.
Andy, have you had a chance to invade your belt yet?
As you can see now. You know, I was thinking about it, I'm world champion, and I always dreamt of having a belt, and then now that I have it, it's like, honestly, but I think that's part of who I am and what's made me so, why I've gotten here, and that if I sat and rested and looked at it and admired it, it wouldn't be long, you know, it's there, I've done it, and now it's just a job of keeping it. But I've never been able, not to get too deep, but I've never been able to like just fully say, you know, sometimes I'll be training hard and I'll be working hard, or walking on the street, or just eating breakfast, I'll say, I'm middleweight champion of the world. But, you know, it's not something I dwell on too long, so the battle will get engraved, let's know, eventually I'll get around to it.
Bill, have you watched tapes of Andy's recent fights?
Yeah, I watched him a few times, Andy. To be honest with you, it's another story as well, because I remember Andy in the 2004 Olympics, and I was only 14. And I was thinking, like, listen, looking from the travelling community, I was all talking about it. Then 4 years later, I was there. You know, so I watched him from the amateurs until the pros as well. And you know, they call things destiny. I think this fight's meant to happen. But Andy's a very good fighter. I've seen a few things. Me and Jimmy's been watching. Well, Jimmy's been watching him as well as me. You know, you see little things, and you know, you've got to try to make them into big things and use them. But as I say, it's going to be very hard, but I know I'll be coming back to the world title.
There's got to be a night when both of you got to dig deeper than normal.
Well, I think that for both of us, we probably can't afford to make the same mistakes we have in previous fights from both sides. So I think that we've both got to be on the A game, because I know we're both going to bring it. Well, I know I'll be bringing it.
And obviously it'll be broadcast on Box Nation, in case you was wondering. So those who can't be there will be on the channel.
You've got any idea, Adam and Frank, about the undercard yet?
We're working on that. Aren't we?
Yeah, we want to get this press conference out of the way, and then we can start building. I think we've got 8 fights on the undercard, and we're going to start building that to make that as entertaining as possible.
I've got to say, I've had about 500 tweets on the Twitter. Is Spike O'Sullivan on the undercard? Because there you go, Spike. I've had a million tweets. All the Irish fans, some of these fans are my fans as well. They've been tweeting me, is he on the undercard, Adam?
Well, the funny thing is, I spoke to Spike about this. We sent messages and we spoke, and it was after we spoke that he decided to prod the Twitter thing. If he's going to be on, he's going to be on it. Twitter won't make a difference.
Yeah. Ask Adam Booth, stop asking me, or Frank Warren asked.
How about Miss Taylor?
Don't know. I mean, if that's to happen, there's a lot of hurdles to jump, and it's whether they can be or not. But again, I'll speak to Frank about it. Stop looking at him. I'll speak to Frank about it, and we reckon
I know
that
the right with his boxing, he does that.
Oh, can we talk about that? Yeah. That would be a reason to put Katie Taylor on, not just the fact that she's an Irish heroine, sorry, and she's a female champion, and Frank has always gone on about how he hates female boxing.
I'm going to make it very clear. I have no problem with women boxing. If they want to box, that's their right. God bless them. And they work very hard and they're very skillful. But I don't particularly like. Well, they were promoted for women's fight.
Was it like you were on a show on ITV, weren't you? Was it you that was on the show on ITV talking about it?
Yeah.
It was a big row.
Yeah.
And I ended up training Kathy Brown.
That's right. So we're talking out already. I said it would last. We'll see what happens, but there will be a top quality undercard featuring some of the best Irish boxers and British boxers on there as well, because a few guys from over here be going over. It's going to be a good night.
And how have sales gone?
I think we've nearly hit something like 8,000 like that. Well, already, so I'm quite sure we've got quite a few. We haven't done anything over here, and for some reason, the press conference in Ireland we didn't get a line over here. So today's the first one from this side. If that's not sold out, then we've done something dramatically wrong. That will sell.
What were you set up for? Sorry, in total
33.
33. Thank you.
We would like to get a good undercard. I think that's and for me, I'd like to have Katie Taylor there. I'm very proud of what she's done, and the whole country's very proud of what she's done. And it would be a good chance for me and for these guys to give back to the boxing fans and let her give back to her really for all that she's done, winning the Olympics, 5-time world champion, European champion, and one of the leading sports people from Ireland. I'd also like to have Spike O'Sullivan on there in a good fight, and hopefully Richard Towers on the undercard in a really good fight. So
And the human piranha, Ryan Burnett.
maybe.
With regards to Katie Taylor, I've had communication with her dad. I've had communication with IABA, Irish Amateur Boxing Association, and I've had communication with AIBA, the Amateur International Boxing Association, and I've had good conversations with them. But like I said, there's a few hurdles to cross.
What is that, the amateur pro thing, or?
Yeah. It's everything, and we know all the questions and the problems that need to be resolved, and we'll see if we can.
And we're going to Covent Garden and see Aida.
Have there been boxing events, professional boxing events in Ireland before where they've mixed amateur? There have been events.
They have over here as well.
Yeah.
We've done it here in the past.
I think this is a one-off special fight. It's in Thomond Park. It's my hometown. I'm the only world champion, and it's just a one-off event. And Katie Taylor would be nice to have her as part of it, because, like I said, to celebrate her in Ireland, really, because she's always fighting abroad and never really seen her.
She's never appeared on a pro show in Ireland.
She has. She fought one time when Bernard Dunn fought, but that was before all of her success. So it would be nice now after fighting home in a big crowd.
Adam, has AIBA been the response been positive from them? In the early talks.
We're still at the point where it's not positive or negative, we're just fact finding it.
Billy, women's boxing, you know?
It's a nice, that's each their own, isn't it? But, you know, women. God, listen, don't ask me that question. Listen, I don't mind it, but listen, I don't like to see, you wouldn't want to see a good woman, good-looking woman in there getting punched and blood all over her nose and broken nose. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the ugly one's alright, the good-looking one. It's okay.
No, actually,
cooking, cleaning, and breeding.
Sorry, we're all, I really emphasise, we all emphasise, you know, certainly from our point of view, is that, and re-emphasise what any woman who wants to go and represent her country, or even whatever she wants to do in sport, you can't, you know, you have to take your hats off to them. And
I'm fighting for all women's rights. I'm champion women's boxing. I'm champion women's equal rights.
I'm championing women's equal rights, but not in boxing.
Billy?
I'll leave it to her.
No problem about that. Anyway.
All you women turn up for the fight.
They know they're going to support that. So he's trying to get women.
So
we know that move.
So if they do get permission from IE when it doesn't affect her going to the Olympics next year, are you going to go along with that then, Frank, or not?
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be on his half of the card.
Okay, so you don't have an issue with it, is what you're saying?
Look, I've got to say, I've just told you, look, there are people who don't like men boxing, you know, and I've been through the days of when, you know, let's ban it and so forth. And that's somebody's opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. Like, I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't particularly like watching women fight. That's my opinion. There are a lot of people who do.
That's what I'm asking. You're not looking.
I appreciate all they do, and good luck to them. That's what they want to do. Me personally, it's not for me.
Frank, who have you put on the undercard on your side of your afterwards?
We think we're going to put Liam Walsh on, and we're looking at a couple of the other guys and so forth. We're fighting there. I think Spike wants to fight on there anyway. I know he spoke to you, but Packy Collins today said that can we try and sort something out for him. So I'm sure he'll fight on the card. And there are, as I say, there's quite a few of our other guys. But Liam Smith will fight on the undercard.
Yeah, just did you offer him the fight with you Max before, or did he have that fight now?
What did I offer that
to Spike?
Yeah, but there was a problem with how much money he wanted for the fight. I'd love to have done the fight, but unfortunately Spike's side were being a bit ridiculous with how much they wanted for
Spike's side?
Yeah, it was Spike's side.
And back to our fight.
Forget all the women's and the Spikes and the whatever. Please forget the women's fight. But this is a fantastic fight. I can't reiterate enough, and I'm really looking for it. I'm looking at the bookies' odds here, you know, and I think Bill's a real good bet at that price. A very good bet. They got 11 to 10 here. They've got Andy 11 to 8 on, and 22 to 1 the draw. So
it won't be a draw. Yeah. And
I hope it's a draw.
Hopefully it won't be resistance.
33,000 people there.
That kind of draw.
Are there any more questions? No. Anyway, well, thanks for. Sorry, you got anything to say? No.
Thanks for the chance. Thanks for the opportunity.
Sorry about the seating arrangements. Thanks very much for all coming along today. It's most appreciated, and obviously there'll be some more press conferences leading up to the fight, and we'll obviously be announcing the undercard. And you know, Adam's done a fabulous job over there, and I'm sure on the night to say we're going to have a good time. So look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.